Well, I'm very disappointed. We didn't get our SOPA today. We didn't get the threat of new legislation. What we did get from Brianna Wu was an op-ed from the Washington Post. And that was it's the same bullshit that she's been doing for a week now. Let me bring it up. Oh well, let's read it. They've taken down women I care about one by one. Apparently you know every woman. Okay. Now the vicious mob of the Gamergate movement is coming after me. They threatened to rape me. They threatened to make me choke to death on my husband's severed genitals. Whatever can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. What the hell is wrong with this woman? Why are you still trying to say it's Gamergate? That's right. Must blame everybody. The movement is not new. 2 years ago, when Anita Sarkeesian tried to crowdfund a series of videos critiquing the hypersexualized female characters of video games. So now we want to say it's about Anita. Now Gamergate is a wildfire that threatens to consume the entire games industry. The fact that the Gamergate supporters went after Quinn and not the journalist says everything you need to know about the movement. She couldn't have done anything against the fine young capitalists. Couldn't have been that. Could have been trying to sabotage somebody else's game just because it was ideologically different. Couldn't have been that. No. But they went after Quinn, man, not the journalist. No, they went after the journalist too. Just a matter of fact, they're still going after the journalist. Just as journalism as a whole. Still haven't understood the concept behind Gamergate. Zoe Quinn revealed something. It's the reason why you hate us. We know that's why you hate us. Because we saw behind the curtain. We saw what's going on. But it's all about harassment. No, it's not. It's about you trying to cover your ass. It's too bad it's all you did was an op-ed on Washington Post. I was so hoping that you would make it political. I was so hoping for that. Yeah. Yes, I am very disappointed. I made a video earlier about me going to DC. But you know what? You know what? It still might get there. It still might get there. You want to know why I think it still might get there? It's because you're just too damn arrogant. You don't want to stop. They decided the personal cost was too high. I don't know who could blame them. Yeah, we didn't really lose anything when Samantha Holland left. It's as good women the industry was lucky to have. Name 3 people Don't tell us what set anybody off. Don't mention what happened to them. The culture in which women are treated this way by gamers didn't happen in a vacuum. For 30 years, video games have been designed by men, marketed to men, and sold to men. That's a bull-faced lie, but okay. First, major institutions in video games, which happen to be dominated by men, I don't know why you would throw that in there, need to speak up immediately and denounce Gamergate. There's a little bit more to that, Miss Wu. There really is a lot more to it. They know what's going on. They're not going to say anything. They're not going to choose a side. They know that you're wrong, therefore they're not going to side with you. But they're not going to side against you because they know you have friends. They're just going to wait it out. Secondly, I call upon the entire industry to examine its hiring practices on all levels. Yeah, it's got to be a sexist conspiracy again. The systematic oppression of women who choose something else other than gaming. Women make up half of all gamers, yet we make up only a fraction of this industry, and yet you're not going to say anything about why that is. While it's possible to point to high-profile women in the field, that fact remains. Women hold a shockingly disproportionate number of high-level positions in game studios, game publishers, and particularly in leadership roles. There are just 11% of game designers and 3% of programmers, according to the Boston Globe. Never once talking about why that may be. Interesting. Game journalism also plays a critical role. It doesn't matter how many women we get into game production. If the only people evaluating the work we do continue to be men, women's voices will never be heard. This is the most sexist thing I've actually heard. Okay? Think about what you just said there. If the only people evaluating the work continue to be men, are you trying to say that by my nature, just by being male, I can't evaluate anything? Is that what you're saying? I'm a robot. I don't have any free will. I don't have any imagination. Have no sympathy for anybody else. I'm so glad you're here, Miss Wu. So does that make you evil just because of the chromosomes within your own body? Is that what you're saying? It's the new insane, right? Blame men for everything. You know, the idiocy of that, the classism of that, you're just specifically pointing out this group of people all have a hive mind and they can't think outside of the hive mind. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. But yet you're parroting this. Need to have more quotas because people can't think outside of their gender. My friend Quinn told me about a folder on her computer called The Ones We've Lost. They are the letters she's gotten from young girls who dream of being game developers, but are terrified of the environment they see. I'd like to see that folder. Nothing melodramatic about that. I nearly broke into tears as I told her I had a folder filled with this saying. The truth is, even if we stopped Gamergate tomorrow, it would have already come at too high a cost. So you mean to tell me that you're so famous, you know every single woman that's ever applied for a job in the gaming industry? Zoe Quinn is just a nobody groupie. Nobody knows her. Nobody knew of her until 2 months ago. Well, nobody in the media really knew about her. I mean, you're acting as if this was Kate Middleton or something. I mean, who are you, Brianna? You're a nobody. Both of you are nobodies. Nobody heard of you. Yet you have this little folder of all the women that have been pushed out of the industry by Gamergate. Nobody knows you. Nobody ever knew you. You didn't know anybody. The hell's wrong with you? You're not, this melodrama at the end of it, that's just what's irritating. You're not, you think so highly of yourself. I mean, you're just giving us more and more fuel to keep going because you're just so damn arrogant. But let's see if you continue. That's what's the beauty of it all. You went to the editorial. If the emotion feeds back and forth. You say something so stupidly melodramatic as if you knew every woman in the industry. It's going to piss everybody off. And they're going to keep going, and they're going to try and drag you out again, saying, look at this poor woman, look at Brianna, let's just cry all over her. At some point, you're going to kick it up a notch. You're almost ready there to kick it up a notch. But that's when the lawsuits are going to happen against you, Brianna.